Welcome to Chapter Chronicles. Subscribe for manga recaps. Be careful, brother. Someone is watching you. After saying that, 17 waved goodbye to Lu Xing and leave him alone on the rooftop. 17's words scared Lu Xing, and without 17, he could only rely on himself as he jumped across rooftops to get back down. He came down to the alleyway, trying to avoid the crowd. Just as he let out a sigh of relief, thinking that everything was safe, he took a step out and heard a woman's voice calling his name from behind. It was the woman with short hair, wearing a casual suit and exuding a wild aura. "Get in the car, I'll treat you to coffee," she said. Lu Xing was surprised. This is his first time being invited by a woman in his 23 years of life, especially by someone like her. His gaze unconsciously lingered on her. However, he managed to remain cautious, unsure if she was an enemy, but didn't want to directly refuse her offer too since she didn't seem hostile. So, he asked softly if they could do something else since he wasn't interested in coffee now. Given all that had just happened, I doubt anyone in his position will be interested in coffee now. The short-haired woman slowly opened the car door and replied, "Let's go to a bar then." In the blink of an eye, they arrived at a bar. The woman's name is Jing, and she immediately stated that she had no malicious intent, and then pulled out her identification card and explained the events that had befallen Lu Xing that day were all arranged by her. Lu Xing glanced at the ID in her hand and discovered that she was the highest-ranking officer at the Qingang City Inspection Hall. He couldn't help but look at her in surprise, thinking to himself that why would she, with such a high position, voluntarily invite him for a drink? He is annoyed at her for setting up everything today, but when he saw the bulge in her waist, he knew it was a gun and could only silently accept what had happened today. He asked her why she did all of this, but Jing did not directly answer this question but instead start with a general explanation. She opened a bottle of wine and spoke. "I belong to a unit that handles exceptional affairs, specializing in managing contamination incidents inside the high walls. After the Red Moon event, the reorganization of the major cities, the handling and eradication of the lunatics outside the city, the resistance of the Knights of the Wild and the spiritual sect, as well as the construction and maintenance of high walls, were all handled by our people. And now, our main focus is on the contamination incidents in the cities." Jing paused and handed Lu Xing a file. "Just like the event you encountered in the coffee shop, you can take a look at it." Lu Xing took the file, and it has the word "Top Secret" on the cover page. When he opened it, he saw that it contained many data records. The record showed that the cafe's waitress was a first spiritual level monster, and details on it. Jing lighted a cigarette and continued. "The Red Moon event caused over 70% of the world's population to turn crazy. Those who survived could only live under the protection of the high walls. However, even among the survivors, not everyone was completely normal. Many suffered from some form of mental illness, which is referred to as contamination. This kind of contamination would spread and affect those around them, causing similar symptoms. Unlike regular pollution, mental pollution could cause people to develop mental illnesses. Some would become depressed and commit suicide, and others would lose their minds and attack those around them. Like plagues, but more mysterious and dangerous. These people are different from the crazed individuals outside the wall because they lived among us in the city and could erupt at any moment. Just like the 37 people from the coffee shop, they were all contaminated by the monster and had lost their self-consciousness. Their ultimate fate is death. The spiritual monster is just the source of contamination, and those who are infected by the monster also have the danger of spreading it. The waiter who you killed was the original body of the contaminator. After he died, those who were deeply infected by him would escape everywhere. Even if just one escapes, there is still possible to develop new contamination, and then more people will be contaminated. Fortunately, the intelligence of a first-level spiritual monster is low. Those infected will only subconsciously gather around him. Since it's so dangerous, why did you arrange for me to go in? Aren't you afraid that I'll get contaminated too?" Lu Xing stared straight at Jing and questioned. Jing seemed to have predicted Lu Xing to ask this question. "You won't be infected, or rather you've already been infected," she replied. She flipped the file to another page, which has his photo, address, and other information. After the Red Moon event, some people's mentality became stronger, and he is one of the people with abnormalities. In their analysis of Lu Xing's abilities, the first one is precise mental control of the body. Their action group has a person codenamed Lizard, whose control over the body has reached 80%, giving him unimaginable strength. He can dodge bullets, control various machinery almost perfectly, and even climb walls regardless of gravity. After observing Lu Xing, they have concluded that he has similar abilities, which they call spider type. As fellow mental psychics, they are likely to discover the existence of polluted monsters, making them suitable for this work. Faced with Qin Jing's invitation, Lu Xing showed a hint of hesitation. On the way back, looking at the heavy bundle of cash, Lu Xing couldn't help but sigh that they really gave too much. He could only reluctantly take on this job and carried the 10,000 yuan with him. He walked happily on the street until he stopped at the Red Moon Primary School. Lu Xing skillfully untied the wire wrapped around the door, and an old man who was reading the newspaper greeted him when he saw him. This primary school only has one classroom. In fact, it is a small orphanage. Lu Xing approached the window of the classroom and saw a girl in a wheelchair playing games with a dozen children. Lu Xing couldn't help but comment on how childish the game was. Unexpectedly, the girl in the wheelchair heard him, but when she turned to look, there was no one there. The girl thought she was being too sensitive, and that it couldn't have been him. Lu Xing was pleased to see them happy and didn't want to disturb them. He went to the side and put the 10,000 yuan into the rusty mailbox. Worried that the girl in the wheelchair inside the classroom wouldn't notice, he even picked some wildflowers and placed them on top of the mailbox. He quietly left the place, and when he reached the gate, the old man seemed to be accustomed to Lu Xing's visits. He told Lu Xing that he should just tell her directly instead of picking flowers every time. All the flowers that he has planted so tiredly are being destroyed by Lu Xing. Lu Xing only smiled at him, saying that he would treat the old man to a drink next time, and left the school. Lu Xing couldn't help but feel that having money was great. He really needed money. Recalling the scene from an hour ago in a bar, Qin Jing paid him 10,000 yuan as a reward for helping them deal with the spiritual monster. This made Lu Xing, who only earns 1,000 yuan a month, suddenly feel flattered. Qin Jing also promised him that if he used his abilities well, he would never be short of money in the future. This statement made the money-obsessed Lu Xing unable to resist the temptation. He really loved this sentence. He feels like this happiness came too suddenly. Qin Jing had noticed his expression and silently evaluated him, reducing his danger index by 10% due to his love for money. Lu Xing was curious about this job, and he did want to find a part-time job. But Lu Xing explained that he actually didn't have the ability. His ability was borrowed from his sister, and not just from his sister, but from his parents as well. They have been living together. Qin Jing was shocked by this statement because Lu Xing's family did not exist in reality. At this moment, a voice of anxiety also came through the earpiece. "Leader Qin, you must make a final evaluation of him. If he really has severe symptoms of identity disorder, he may be on the verge of losing control anytime. Not only can we not recruit him, but we must also eliminate him as soon as possible to prevent him from causing a major disaster. Don't forget the dream weaver who died in a bizarre way. She had only entered the dream of Lu Xing to make an evaluation, yet died directly inside. And there was no trace of any mental residue detected. Such a situation has never happened before, and even Professor Bai cannot determine the cause of his death." Qin Jing's nerves were stretched tight, and even her hand subconsciously touched the gun. She understood that behind this seemingly harmless young man was hiding what kind of madness, but have finally found such a potential individual, Qin Jing couldn't bear to eliminate him. She wants to give him a try. Her pupils faintly turned red as she attempted to break Lu Xing's delusion. "According to the information we have, since Moon Orphanage was destroyed, you have been living alone. Your parents, siblings, they all don't exist. They are just your imagination, and even the old building you live in, only you are there." When Qin Jing had just finished her speech, she was ready to take action if in any case, Lu Xing lost control after learning the truth. Then there would be no reason to keep him. However, to her surprise, Lu Xing was unexpectedly calm. "I've long noticed that others can't see them," he said, suddenly laughing. "But I can not only see them but also eat and chat with them. When I'm in danger, they appear to protect me. Can you say that such family members don't exist?" The urgent request came through the earpiece again. "Leader Qin, the armed equipment is ready. Please make the final evaluation." She didn't reply to the other side but instead asked Lu Xing the last question. "If all your abilities come from your family members, can you guarantee that they won't affect you?" Lu Xing slowly replied, "Actually, you don't have to worry. My family members are all very nice people. My sister is a lovely child who likes toys and playing around. My father likes cooking and is a well-behaved man who always stays in the kitchen. My mother is very gentle and never argues with anyone. She just likes to reason with people. They won't anyhow control my body. After listening to him, Xing felt complicated. This person is way too normal. He described a few completely non-existent people in a very serious and normal state. Walking on the street, Lu Xing sighed lightly. Although Xing's last look was suspicious, as long as he could earn money, nothing else mattered. Xing drove up to him. This time, they decided to recruit Lu Xing on a temporary basis. Lu Xing would need to pass their evaluation before becoming a regular member. She handed him a document and asked him to sign it if he agreed. Lu Xing saw that there was a monthly salary of 5,000 yuan during the evaluation period and asked about the job requirement. Xing then explained in detail and warned him to think twice. Investigating and infiltrating contamination posed a constant threat of death and the possibility of becoming part of the monster. After the Red Moon incident, every person is worthy of being cherished and protected, including him. Hearing that joining the special department would be very dangerous, Lu Xing became even more determined to sign his name. This surprised Xing. It turns out that Lu Xing had always remembered what the principal of the orphanage had said to him in the past. After the Red Moon event, there were fewer and fewer left people in the world, the order was collapsing, and civilization was regressing. If the remaining people continued to fight amongst themselves, we would never be able to return back to the past. Although Lu Xing did not know what life was like before, he felt that the principal must have been right. After listening, Xing smiled and handed Lu Xing a box from inside the car. Inside includes an identification card, a satellite phone, a revolver, and 2 boxes of bullets. The only saved number on the phone was Xing's. This made Lu Xing's heart skip a beat. It felt like he was being taken care of by a female seal. Which is my dream, by the way. Xing saw him blushing when she calls him back to Earth and decided to lower his danger index even more, seeing that he still has lustful desires. Before leaving, Xing told him to not only protect himself when handling pollution incidents, but also in his daily life. Do not use his abilities casually. And if he encountered any trouble, he could contact the police, call Xing directly, or use that revolver to settle it. Walking on the road, money-obsessed Lu Xing quietly calculated his earnings. His fixed monthly salary was 5,000, plus the company's 1,000 monthly income, which totaled 6,000. The reward for clearing a first-level spiritual monster is 30,000, while level 2 is 300,000. The reason why Lu Xing was so obsessed with money is to support the Red Moon Primary School and to cure the girl named Xiao Lu who was in a wheelchair. At this moment, Lu Xing's sister came to call him home. His parents were waiting for him to have dinner. Just nice, Lu Xing also wanted to find 17 to ask if he could borrow her abilities to work and make money. But 17 felt that her brother wasn't sincere at all in his offers, so she pretended to leave. Lu Xing hurriedly asked 17 what toy she wants, and he will try to figure out a way to buy it for her. 17 pointed to a drunken man under the streetlight, and said she wants a toy that could move and talk. One that is complete so she could tear it open and sew it back together again. 17's eyes lit up with a slightly eerie excitement, and she said as long as Lu Xing gave her that toy, she would promise him anything. Lu Xing crouched down and whispered to his sister that she shouldn't hurt others without reason, as it is illegal. 17 suddenly fell into silence. Is it illegal to hurt people? She asked. Then why can other people hurt me? 17's laughter seemed somewhat cruel, and her eyes were filled with a hint of pain. If you don't want me to hurt others, then lend yourself to me as a toy to play with for a while. Lu Xing neither answered nor refused. 17's pointed finger slowly reached toward his back. The fingertip was delicate and sharp, and the sharpness seemed to have intangible magic that wanted to tear everything apart. She gently touched his brother's back. The long and thick scar looked particularly ferocious and terrifying. One can imagine how heavy the damage was at the time. 17 snuggled in Lu Xing's arms. Does brother's scar still hurt now? At this moment, she was like a simple little girl, her small body trembling gently. Brother has always been a fool. When others hurt me, only you will come to protect me. Lu Xing gently opened his arm and revealed a doting look. Sister, do you know that I am different from before? He happily shared with her sister about his new job and the news of having money now. Although I can't buy you that kind of toy, I can take you to buy other toys. You can buy whatever you want. 17's tearful face showed a hint of a smile and nodded vigorously, seeming to have forgotten the sadness just now. She held her brother's hand happily and went onto the street. The two of them played with the claw crane machine and bought toys from one end of the street to the other. Lu Xing bought everything that little 17 liked, and soon, he was carrying a pile of toys and dolls. Because ordinary people cannot see 17, they began to gossip about Lu Xing's strange behavior. However, Lu Xing and his sister ignored them and even made faces back at them. Ever since the family secret was revealed, Lu Xing no longer cared about the strange looks of others. He brought his sister to a bridge by the river, and she excitedly tore open each toy, dismantling them and then reassembling them in a chaotic manner. 17 destructed the toys to her heart's content, and a satisfied expression appeared on her face. Under the red moon, Lu Xing stood silently by the railing while little 17 suddenly turned back, a genuine smile spreading across her face. "I'm so happy," she said. Seeing 17 being so happy, Lu Xing asked, "Will you lend me your power then?" 17 stood up and said, "My silly brother, don't you know? You can forcibly use my ability." "I know, but I still need your permission," Lu Xing responded seriously. 17 was momentarily stunned. It was a feeling of being needed. A true smile broke out on her twisted face. She reached out her slender hand to Lu Xing. "When you need me, I'll be by your side," she said. Lu Xing also reached out his hand, tapping 17's hand. The two of them made a pact. On Qingjing's side, the decision to recruit Lu Xing was met with strong opposition from the higher-ups. They believed it was a mistake, especially before they could determine the risk of Lu Xing losing control. However, Qingjing still believed in her own judgment. The high walls couldn't hold on for much longer. The problem they are facing was not who to choose, but that they had no choice. Only psychics could fight monsters. The next morning, Lu Xing was having breakfast with his family. His mother learned that he had a new job and gently told him that there was a gift specially prepared for him after breakfast. Meanwhile, Lu Xing's father came over from the kitchen grumbling and said to Lu Xing, "You know you're being used by those people and yet you still rush to join. You're so useless. You can't even tell when you're being deceived. If it were up to me, you should just chop them all up. Do you even know that they almost killed you yesterday?" Father pointed at 17 and said, "If it weren't for her, you would have been killed by them a long time ago. They almost killed you. Why do you still want to work for them?" Although Lu Xing felt that father was not wrong about the coffee shop incident, that was not right of them. But they also paid him a lot of money. This statement stunned father for a moment, and he couldn't refute it for a while. He angrily grabbed Lu Xing's collar and called him a useless person, announcing that he would kill him. However, just as father was about to swing his huge fist at Lu Xing, a sudden splash of white porridge hit him in the face, interrupting his action. It was mother who threw it. The gentle mother suddenly turned cold. "The real garbage is you. If it weren't for your incompetence and irritability, why would we all be trapped here?" Father seemed to be hit on a sore spot and angrily raised his fist at mother. But this time, mother didn't want to waste time arguing with him. She simply creates a scissor sign using her hand. Father stopped immediately. "What are you doing with that?" He lowered his voice for the first time and looked very cautious. Mother smiled lightly. "You know what I mean. So if you're afraid, then go back." In the end, father could only vent his fury by smashing things on the dining table like a madman, until everything was a mess. He grumbled and retreated back to the kitchen. Lu Xing kindly comforts 17. Mother had prepared a gift for him and elegantly helped him get ready. Li Xing looks great in the new suit, but with mother's exceptional sense of aesthetics, she was still dissatisfied. She carefully examined Lu Xing and found the issue at hand. She slowly approached him and gently removed his glasses. Lu Xing suddenly looked completely different. His look had definitely been buried by his glasses like in every other manga. It seemed that Lu Xing had never dressed up like this before, and he felt a little uncomfortable. But he thanked mother for the gift and for helping him out of a tricky situation just now. Mother smiled and said, "Silly child, we are a family, so there's no need to say thank you. You are always honest and had never harmed anyone, but if anyone tries to bully you, our whole family will go after him." She continued to smile, as gentle and thoughtful as ever. Today, Lu Xing left on time after work. His colleagues were all talking about it since he usually worked overtime and was usually the last one to leave. The scene happened to be noticed by the company director. After leaving the company, Lu Xing took 17 out to patrol the streets. Although Qingjing told him to wait for instructions and follow orders, he still wanted to look for opportunities on the streets and tried to increase his salary and turn into a regular as soon as possible. Since the Red Moon incident, most people behind the high walls were just living aimlessly. After walking around for a while, he found nothing unusual. In this way, he would be useless. Lu Xing worried that Qingjing would take back her money, and he would lose his extra income. 17 was eating ice cream and chatting on the side, and Lu Xing let out a deep sigh. He skipped his dinner to patrol and yet nothing occurred. If only he had the chance to perform, he could earn tens of thousands of yuan after becoming a regular. In the following days, he continued to repeat the routine of clocking out and patrolling the streets. Until the day he was dismissed by the supervisor because he had entered the company with his left foot first. The supervisor even helped him pack his things in advance. It was not until his colleague informed him that he realized that his things were packed by the new employee he had previously taught. "Xiao Lu, you're too honest. You handed everything over to others, and see, now they've taken your job," she added. Feeling aggrieved, Lu Xing reached into his backpack and felt the gun inside. He remembered Qinjing's words that if he ever encountered problems in life, he could report, call Qinjing, or use the gun to handle it. But as the silly kind person he was, he felt that using the gun was not necessary at this point. After some thought, he decided to call Qinjing first. Qinjing was initially nervous when she saw that it was Lu Xing who called. But soon, she calmed down and answered the phone, asking if something had happened to Lu Xing. It was the first time Lu Xing had spoken with his boss, so he tried to be as polite as possible and explained that there was a problem on his end. Qinjing stood up suddenly when she heard this, thinking that a monster had appeared. She asked nervously what the problem was, and everyone in the office became alert. Lu Xing seemed to sense that the atmosphere on the other end of the phone was strange and quickly explained that he was being fired because he finished work on time every day and went on patrol on the streets. Qinjing's end was silent for a while after hearing this, and then she asked about the patrol. It wasn't until Lu Xing explained the situation that she understood it was just a small matter and they had been needlessly worried. Qinjing sighed and asked Lu Xing to wait for a moment before hanging up the phone. Lu Xing thought that since Qinjing asked him to wait, she should be able to help him deal with the situation. At this point, 17 slowly approached Lu Xing and asked if the woman could really help him. Otherwise, she suggested turning them into toys or even killing them all for daring to bully him. Mother would be happy to help, and maybe their father would too.